President John Dramani Mahama delivered a blunt message at the United Nations. Crimes against Palestinians must stop. He urged world leaders to speak plainly on the Gaza crisis. His comments come just hours after the minority urged the government to tread cautiously on the issue. There's more in the following report.
Addressing world leaders in New York, President John Dramani Mahama criticized attempts to soften the reality of the Gaza crisis, stressing Ghana's support for a two-state solution.
Ghana recognized the state of Palestine in 1988 and supported a two-state solution to the conflict since then. And I say, contrary to the claims of some, a two-state solution would not be a reward for Hamas. It would rather be a reprieve for the hundreds of thousands of innocent women and children and people who are facing collective punishment and forced starvation for no reason other than the fact that they are Palestinian. For nearly 2 years and for the fear of reprisals, we here in this General Assembly have been playing hide and seek with language to find the right words to help us avoid or excuse what we all know is taking place in Gaza. But here's the thing, it doesn't matter what you call it. If it looks like a duck, it swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, well, then it must be a duck. The crimes in Gaza must stop. The crimes in Gaza must stop.
The president also challenged the United Nations' relevance, calling its chapter outdated and demanding reforms to reflect today's realities.
The UN Founding Charter is outdated when it comes to representation in this August Assembly. The most powerful post-World War II nations are still being rewarded with an almost totalitarian guardianship over the rest of the world. And yet, the first sentence in Chapter 2, Article 1 of the UN Charter declares that the organization is based on the principle of sovereign equality of all its members. If this were true, and was the case, a continent as large as Africa, with its numerous UN member states, would have at least one permanent seat on the Security Council.
The president's address on Gaza comes just a day after the minority urged caution on the issue. Samuel Abujinapo is a ranking member on Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee.
By describing the events in Gaza in absolute terms and aligning the country explicitly with one side in a highly polarized conflict, the government risks compromising the delicate balance that has long safeguarded Ghana's credibility as an impartial actor on the international stage.
Well, let's bring in Dr. Vladimir Ntwedanso. He's the Dean of Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College here in Accra. We're grateful for your time. First of all, your general assessment of the President's address at the UN.
Thank you for having me, but let me correct an impression. For a time, I'm no longer the Dean of Academic Affairs at the Ghana Armed Forces Command College.
Well noted, sir.
Right. Generally, the President blunt. Yeah, that's right. It's blunt. It's what is multiple offense. The fact that delicate does not necessarily mean that we cannot say, as to put it, when it is a duck, we cannot say it is a duck. I was intrigued by bold stance which contradicted what Trump came to say about rewarding Hamas, the recognized Palestine. Unfortunately, as the president put it, since 1998, we have recognized Palestine, and we have been part of the two-state solution long before these European countries have decided to recognize them. So we must say it as it is and work towards it. My only problem is that these are nothing but part of the lamentations we have been doing for the past 30 years. And Kofi Annan tried to recalibrate the United Nations structure by redefining or getting a new framework for security. But unfortunately, the structure of the UN, as the president said, is such that there is a catch-22. Whatever we do, it must be approved by the P5, any one of them or in a collective. So even changing the structure will have to get the approval of the P5. This is what the president left out. The point is this, that we need a restructuring of the UN, but through a new charter altogether. this charter is outdated, that is said. But nothing can overthrow the charter if we go through the same charter to correct the charter. We need a new charter altogether.
The president also touched on some other issues with regards to the management of Africa's own natural resources, considering the fact that donor funds are going down. Was that a very good point for the president to make at the UN?
Very good point, because that is the only forum we can express our disgust at the way we are being treated where our natural resources are concerned. Unfortunately, we have to blame ourselves, our leaders. He has to blame his colleagues in Africa who signed those transactional agreements instead of some developmental agreements. I mean, somebody comes here to take our gold, to take our lithium and whatnot, and he pays a royalty of 6%, and we are happy. And we, the politicians, clap when we say, oh, during X time, they had 4%. We have been able to get 10%. What are we doing? This transactional agreement, the IEA has come out several times to say that these agreements are bad. We should have learned from countries like Ethiopia, countries like Eritrea, who say, I have my, and then Norway too, they taught us how to handle our oil, but we didn't follow them. Who say, I have my resource, I don't have money, come take it up. And then the profit, we share it 60-40. 60 for you, 40 for me. And that's what is happening.
Right.
But we sign obnoxious agreements and then we regret later. And it's the whole of Africa that is doing that.
Right. Before I let you go, the minority has been raising concerns about the government utterances on the Palestine issue. They believe that the position of the government could, bring some friction between our country and Israel and its allies. Is there a view you share?
No, absolutely. So be it. We are a sovereign country. If we say something and they are angry, let them be angry. So do they do things that make us angry? A delicate balance. I mean, yes, we have to show that delicate line. But then when it is a spade, let's call it a spade. What is happening in Palestine? No person well screwed, with a head properly screwed, will accept what is happening. I mean, we went to Iraq on a collective and said Iraq was attacking Kuwait, and that was against the charter. And we all went there. So what Israel is doing is against also the Genocide Convention. Why has the United Nations waited up till now? And if we in Ghana or Kenya or South Africa get up to mention it as it is, what is the delicate line over here? We need to say it as it is.
Right.
I think they are believing that the U.S. or Israel will be angry. And so what?
Okay. Thank you so much, Doc. We appreciate your time.